Hello Leo, hello and welcome into your general tarot card reading for November of 2018. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one of those spiritual messages cards to begin with. See your message for November. Then I'm going to pull 4 cards, and they're going to kind of symbolize the 4 weeks of November. Then those before, they're going to serve as additional narrative to it. Nextly, another 3. Yes, I like my readings to be focused. So this one is what to focus on in November. This one what to release, and this is the best way forward, suggested the best way forward. And then one of those rune cards as additional commentary. So Leo, let's see what we're going to have here. Okay, I need my glasses. So it says, the card is called Vulnerability. The message goes, this is confirmation that you are seeking to tread into unknown, unfamiliar territory, where decisions are based more on intuition than rationality. Don't let fear hold you back or allow a misguided sense that feeling vulnerable is somehow a negative condition. That is the message for you, Leo. So let's see, what do we have here? We have a devil, we have a justice, we have a tower, we have a 4 of cups, we have Queen of Swords, we have a 10 of cups, we have a High Priestess, the King of Cups. Things to focus on, it's the Knight of Cups. To let go of, it's 5 of Cups, and the best way forward, I love it, it's 3 of Swords. And actually 3 of Swords is very nicely tidied up with the vulnerability bit that I love. So what do we have here? The beginning of the month, Leo, it might begin with some kind of, for some of you it's a general read, some kind of constraint, something that is not allowing you to move forward. You might kind of have a feeling you're being trapped, you might be feeling that there are things that are holding you back, and that might be everything from your own perception to relations and relationships with other situation, some kind of type of addictions or unhealthy relationship. And as you can see, Devil, it's one of those cards where it's clear indication that it's really up to you how you're going to manage that situation or that feeling. Those 2 people, they have the chains, but the chains that are being loose, so whatever time they would like to remove those chains around the neck, they can do so. And the light, there's a very little light within the situation. So there might be some kind of unclarity, or there might be something that is going on, is not allowing you to move forward. So next you have a justice. So justice is saying, okay, the situation has to be addressed. How are we going to address the situation? And you very much know it has to be done in terms of addressing the situation. For some of you, justice is going to come around as a your own judgment and your own perception of reality, and knowing when to say no and when to say stop. And as you can see, the way how she sits rather comfortably. She has this crown, she has the sword, so she doesn't sometimes understand her own strength. There's a white shoe over here, indicating that the intention to be pure, coming from the heart. And she has that crown, and that crown has this kind of jewel over here, so it's showing the third eye, understanding, kind of gut feeling about certain things, knowing without knowing how you know it. And this cloak over here behind her, a curtain, it's symbolizing the violent. It's a color, purple, and it's representing the ultraviolet, so violet. I cannot even pronounce it, so please forgive me. English is my second language. But basically what I'm trying to convey is that message of there's a spectrum of light, and the spectrum of light kind of goes into the invisible, where it's ultraviolet. So you might know within your gut, you might have a very good understanding of situation and you might want to do something about it. Equally, it might be to do with some kind of legal matters, something that it requires some kind of formal setting or a hearing. So that might be it. And what is next, what do we have, is a Tower. So it's almost like, if you're going to think about that, the Devil is number 15 and the Tower is number 16. So it's like a natural progression. So whatever is going to happen, whatever outcome is going to happen, it's going to allow you start afresh. Sometimes it might be forced upon you, or situation going to go. There's this kind of expression, tits up. So, and even though this is very much needed, because this is almost whatever has been there to start with, and starting with this Devil over here, it's going to allow you to release from situation. And even though the situation, there's also saying there's a better Devil that you know. In this particular case, it's about leveling everything down and having that Tower moment to allow new things coming into your life. And sometimes it might be difficult, because sometimes it's just happening against your own will or against your wishes, because you would like to keep the status quo. But this is not about keeping the status quo. And you have a Four of Cups. So Four of Cups is indication over here that the kind of solutions might be offered, or some kind of way forward might be offered to you, but you might be not kind of quite, might not fit into your expectations. So you might be feeling, well, that is not what I really wanted, even though it might be actually the best way forward for you. What this card is also indicating is indicating that you should really ground yourself, center yourself, and kind of widen your focus when it comes to the perception of situation and people, and kind of be more open, more flexible with possibilities that come in your way that might be not necessarily how you envisage to be, but yet there's something that is coming your way and is offering you that kind of solution that you might be quite uncertain, or you might be, sometimes it's a case of being too blind to see, because it's just a paradigm, that kind of perception, what is right, what kind of options ideally you would like to have. And then we have a Queen of Swords, and Queen of Swords is a beautiful card. I love her. Queen of Swords might be representing a person, a situation, your own perception. And Queen is one of those people who are going to make a decision, they're going to follow it through. Queen is representing either a person, situation that is informed by their own experience, and might come across as very cool and collected, and cool as a cucumber, but underneath it all it's very emotional, but doesn't want to show this emotion. So once again, it's linking to the vulnerability over here. And she's kind of looking towards the Ten of Cups over here. So it feels to me, and for me personally, the way how it sits in that reading is linking to a justice. Queen of Swords is linking to justice, so she knows what has to be done, and it almost is going to take the stand, or you're going to take the stand of what I'm hearing, and I just want to translate it the best as I can into greater good, making decisions in principle, deciding to make decision based on what is the best for either family setting or friends, family, for everyone involved, and it's all about this. And also it's all about taking responsibility, but sometimes knowing that you have to do certain things for the greater good of others, even though they might not understand the basis for your decisions. So there might be some kind of not quite understanding why you're going that way. There might be kind of misunderstanding why, or not understanding at all your own motivations over here. And it's nothing wrong with that, because you have to do what sits right with you, regardless of, it's sometimes very difficult to please everyone, but sometimes we do things for that are not easy in order to accommodate or to ensure others people comfort and happiness. That was what is coming through. And then you have a High Priestess. So High Priestess is in many different respects. In this particular case, I think High Priestess is telling you to go with your gut feeling, and if there are other people to advise you, that's perfectly fine. But the overall indication over here is that if you feel the things that they have to be done certain way, or you have a certain understanding, you should be really listening to your gut and go with the flow, sort of the flow that this kind of whatever is coming through, it's going to ring the truth, and you should kind of stay true to yourself. And then you have a King of Cups, and a King of Cups is once again going with that kind of message of taking on responsibility and managing things, even though they're difficult. It's like managing your decorum and allowing things to happen, and kind of have that kind of selflessness about yourself, even though other people, they might not see how much it's going to cost you. It's about doing the right thing for the benefit of others or greater good. That's what is coming through. So in terms of what to focus, the way how you come across, the what are you offering, and as well as setting up your own boundaries. So it's nothing wrong with setting up your own boundaries. So what I'm hearing is nothing wrong to be vulnerable, but equally there is nothing wrong with you setting your boundaries and your own expectations and telling people when they are crossing them, and be very firm with it. What is to release? Whatever has happened in the past is happening in the past, and if you're going to reminisce the past or whatever regrets you have, the indication is here to release it, to let it go of it, because once again there's this information about 2 cups standing here. So whatever has happened is done. You cannot go to the past and amend it. So you're very much in the now, but now is very much focused on what has happened and your emotions and your hurt, disappointment, and this is kind of coming here as well. And there's 3 here again. So you see you have 3 cups over here indicating some kind of disappointment, and you have a 3 swords over here going through your heart, talking about the emotions. So what they're trying to tell you here, Leo, the 2 cups that are still standing, there are opportunities there to be used and embraced, but you might be too wrapped up or too focused on the ideal options or avenues that you might not see it. And those 4 of cups, they're kind of conveying the same message over here. So what's a release? Release the past. What has happened in the past is done. There are other things that are available to you, but you have to kind of encourage this new perspective, this new way of thinking, to look and see it. And what is the best way forward is actually heal. Whatever is happening, it's about healing, allowing yourself, being vulnerable, allowing yourself to go through this, allowing yourself to go through the focus, through the process, and actually heal it and release it. So that's the overall message for you here, Leo. And what do you have? This rune is indicating that you're kind of halfway through the process, and the overall message is to not give up. You're nearly there, you achieved more than you think, you're halfway through. And as you can see, this is all about acknowledging what is still there, what you have achieved, how far you managed how far you are in the process. But this is also acknowledging things that are not longer working, allowing them to go, and take that kind of time to acknowledge it. Give yourself a rest, don't pushing yourself too hard, and then heal and move forward. That is the overall message for you, Leo, for November. Leo, I think that is a beautiful message over here, and it looks like things, even though they seems to be kind of up and down, that go in the right direction. So I would like to say a massive thank you for tuning. It's always a pleasure to read for you. If this indeed has resonated, please let me know by commenting, liking and subscribing. Once again, thanks and bye for now.